All right, hi everyone, and welcome to this week's product training with Blue Triangle. Today we're going to talk about the synthetic monitoring module in the Blue Triangle portal. So there's tons of cool features and functionality in this module, and we're going to walk through many of them today. What we want to accomplish today is to give you a better understanding of what you can do with Blue Triangle synthetic monitoring, as well as some of the typical workflows you might find yourself using on the way to diagnosing an issue or solving a problem of some kind. All right, so my name is Mark, and I'm the support manager here at Blue Triangle, and we do these training sessions each week about various topics related to web performance, analytics, and ultimately how to use Blue Triangle to solve problems. So let's go ahead and get started. As far as the agenda today, we're not going to cover so much how to set up synthetic monitors. We're more so going to be covering how to look at your synthetic data from the standpoint of a real-time dashboard, as well as historical data analysis. And of course, we're going to be talking about how to set up alerts for your synthetic monitors. Creating synthetic monitors, we'll go through how to do a basic setup, and then we'll talk about where you should go in the portal to set up a dashboard for real-time monitoring of these synthetic monitors, and how to make sure you have alerts set up to ensure that you're notified whenever site issues occur. And then we're going to talk about more historical data analysis and investigating issues or trends in your data from a historical standpoint, and then function tracing. This is a really cool, relatively new feature that we've added in the last year and a half, and it's only for synthetic monitoring because, with synthetic we have more control over the test and the browser, and we're able to profile the functions that are running and on the page and collect that data and display it in sort of a waterfall chart, which I'll be showing you toward the end today. So stay tuned for that. And of course, at the end, we'll talk about, we'll go through any questions you had, and I'll answer those as best I can, and that will be it for today. So let's go ahead and jump into the Blue Triangle portal, and we're going to start with managing synthetic monitors. All right, so I'm in the synthetic monitoring module right now in the performance overview. We'll come back to this page because it's a great dashboard. We'll cover that here in a second. But the first thing we're going to do is talk about how to manage your synthetic monitors, how to set them up, how to set up alerts for them, and etc. So we're going to come down under the synthetic monitoring module. We're going to click Manage. And then we're going to choose the first option up here under synthetic monitors. All right. So this is obviously the synthetic monitors management area. This table lists all of your enabled or paused or expired synthetic monitors. So to go ahead and create one of these, you're going to click this button up here in the top left, and you're going to be presented with a variety of options. So probably the most common is our single page real browser monitor. That's just going to hit any URL that you wish to monitor and using a real browser. So it's going to download all of the files, JavaScript, CSS, just like a real user would in their browser. Now, a multi-step real browser monitor, it's powered by Selenium, and so that means you're able to click on buttons and interact with the page and step through your user journey synthetically, right? So you'll have multiple steps or multiple pages for that type of a monitor. We also have a base page and SSL monitor. It's basically an API check. It also monitors for SSL expiration, and we can alert on that as well. It's also for API checks, so you can just run a post or a GET or a PUT or any sort of HTTP method to an API endpoint, and validate the response. And then, of course, the last option here is our multi-step API monitor, and that is powered by JMeter. So you're able to create a JMeter script and upload that into the Blue Triangle portal here and schedule that to run. So let's just go through a basic single-page real browser monitor setup quickly. We've done some great trainings in the past going through really the ins and outs and digging into how this works, all of the features and capabilities that we have. But for the sake of today's training, we're just going to touch on it quickly, and we'll just go through one quick example with a single page real browser monitor. So we're going to hit create there, and I'm in the advanced configuration right now. I'm just going to look at the wizard. This is just going to walk you through all of the required fields that you need to set one of these up. So we're going to give it a name, Mark Demo Monitor 1. And as a matter of fact, we're going to hit this URL, demo.bluetriangle.com. So the next step is to define the URL, and we're going to give it a name. I'll just call it Mark Demo Monitor 1, the same as the configuration, the monitor name. The page group and traffic segment, here you're able to kind of like, it's kind of a real user monitoring kind of methodology here, but you're able to segment the data into different page groups as well as traffic segments. So for example, you could call this, you could make the traffic segment single page monitors, or you could call it, production. This is really to help you categorize the synthetic traffic, and you'll be able to use the filter options in Blue Triangle when you actually look at the data for this, and you'll be able to filter down on specific traffic segments or page groups, as well as page names and monitor names for that matter. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is choose what locations we'd like to run this monitor from. I'm going to just choose the first couple in the United States. We do have locations from across the world that you're able to choose from, and you can see those here in the list. So I'm just going to go to the next step. We're going to choose what device we want to run this from. The default is desktop. You can choose a mobile device, and keep in mind this is just an emulation. It's not a physical mobile device, but you are able to use the Chrome's mobile emulation and choose any of these options here. But we're just going to stick with desktop for now. The next step is to schedule when this monitor should run. By default, it's going to run indefinitely, kicking off now. But you could schedule this to kick off at a particular date in the future and maybe run for 2 weeks, for example. The frequency here is how often it's going to run from each location. Okay, is every 15 minutes, each of the 3 locations will run this synthetic measurement, right? Now, function tracing, we'll be getting into the details on this here shortly, but this is the configuration for function tracing. And the last thing we're going to do is review what we've done and go ahead and create this synthetic monitor. All right, and you can see the usage details down here as well. So it'll tell you, hey, you're about to increase your projected usage by this much, which brings it to this much per month, and you have this much allotted per month. So we're going to go ahead and create this. Now, I already have some other synthetic monitors running, so I'm just going to pause. I'm just going to disable that one that I just set up, And a cool way to do that is if you check this box here and run up to bulk actions, there's a variety of things you can do. You can bulk edit these things. So I'll show you what that would look like. You can change the kickoff and end time, as well as a variety of other configurations like the agent locations, the frequency, and various others here. But we're just going to disable this for now. Confirm. All right, so and that's how you would set up a synthetic monitor. Like I said, I already have a few of these set up. So we're going to talk now about viewing the data for your synthetic tests. And we're going to start on the synthetic performance overview page. So we're going to leave and go there. All right, so this is a dashboard, and we're looking at the last 6 hours right now. And you can see our auto refresh is 5 minutes. You can lower that to 2 minutes or extend it to any of these options here. Now, the key widget here is going to be this error tracking and performance widget. This is going to list all of your synthetic monitors, and this bar here is showing you performance and error state or availability over time. So this bar is going to show up as red, amber, or green, indicating the error state of the monitors. So that red obviously would be critical, amber would be warning, and green is success, of course. One of the best features, I think personally, one of the coolest features of this page is if you see, a spike in performance or any sort of red in this graph, all you have to do is just click on the graph at the time period you're interested in. And that's going to take you over to our test results page with that monitor selected. And this is just going to show you the table of the test results. Pretty straightforward. You're able to click this drop-down button and drill into more information. You can click this waterfall icon, and that's going to pull up the performance breakdown, as well as a variety of other things down here, including the object level detail waterfall, function tracing waterfalls, which I'll show you here in a bit, the HAR file, headers and cookies, the screenshot. If a film strip was available, it'll show that as well. Looks like we do have one for this measurement. Console log and the test event log. The test event log is great for the multi-page synthetic measurements. You're able to see each step and each command as it's executing. You're able to see what, when it failed, like why it failed. Really clearly laid out in the log. So this screenshot, the HAR file, these are great tools for investigating and diagnosing issues. So that's really one of the key features I wanted to show off to you guys on the synthetic performance overview. Another couple of things over here, these buttons, the one on the left brings up, you can dive into the performance detail page, which we'll be going to here in a second, for further analysis on the particular monitor. You can also go into the monitor configuration with this gear, and then you can also run an instant measurement with this lightning bolt option. Oh, and as you can see, my Mark demo monitor actually ran a couple of times while I had it enabled. All right, so the next thing I wanted to show you is, obviously, this is really the best place, I think, for real-time monitoring of your synthetic monitors. I'll show you real quick another one. If you go to the synthetic site health in the dashboard, this is a pre-configured dashboard, and here you're able to see it's kind of a different view. You get a scatter plot of the measurements coming in, and you can hover over them and see which one's which and click on them. For example, I'll click on this one here. It looked like it ran a little slowly. And that'll update the screenshot up here. And you can click this, which is, this over here is the tests, and then this over here is the steps in each test. So this is just a single page monitor, product page loaded in 7 seconds. So if I click on that, I'm actually able to drill in for more information about the URL and the response code, the object level detail waterfall down here. And then the same things that we have over on the test results, we have here of the film strip, HAR file, the test event log as well. So it's kind of just personal preference. I personally like to see the monitors listed out, nice and neat like this. And then if I want to drill in, I can do that by just clicking through. But, both pages are useful. It's just a matter of kind of what you're trying to do. Continue the auto refresh, and that'll kind of refresh the page there. All right, the next thing I wanted to show you guys is alerts. How do you set up an alert for the synthetic monitor? So that can actually be done in the advanced configuration section of the synthetic monitor. So there's a variety of sections here. You're going to want to scroll down to the error tracking configuration section. So here you get to specify the configuration or the state of what are the requirements to trigger a notification. So this is saying right now if there was one error in the last 5 minutes, this is our evaluation window here. If there was one error in the last 5 minutes for this synthetic monitor, then go ahead and send an email to nobody actually, because nothing is displayed here. But you could go ahead and add a notification group or just one email address. So another example would be, let's require at least one error from at least 2 locations. And you can mark that as consecutive errors from 2 different locations or not. You can also run the error state tracking by percent. So you can talk about the percent of runs with errors here. All right. I would strongly recommend that you configure this and set this up. Probably go ahead and just set it to one location with one run with errors. And just see how it works for you, and then you can tune it after that. Maybe you want to set it to 2 from one location, or maybe you want to require the errors are consecutive. You can kind of tune it whatever you need using the parameters here. Okay, so as far as real-time monitoring goes, the best 2 pages are going to be the synthetic performance overview and the synthetic site health dashboard. And that's going to be here in the dashboard. Pre-configured synthetic site health dashboard here. Now, if you want to talk about, I'll close some of these tabs. If you want to talk about monitoring your historical synthetic data, the place to be is going to be the performance detail page. So I'm going to go there right now. So the synthetic performance detail page is great for historical data analysis. Up at the top, you get a site availability graph. Obviously, you can choose what synthetic data you're looking at. You can choose it by a monitor name or page name or traffic segment or page group like I mentioned before. Right now, we're just looking at the home page. And you can see the performance details over here as far as how each of these metrics is doing. Moving down the page, we have our performance graph. If you're familiar with our real user performance detail page, this page works very, very similar. This graph here, you're able to click, and this shaded area is what is going to show up in the scatter plot. Okay, and the scatter plot shows, just like our synthetic site health dashboard, the scatter plot shows tests on the left and steps for pages for each test on the right. We only just have single pages set up. You're able to click on the dot and scroll down for more information. So just like in the test results, the synthetic site health dashboard, you're able to get all of this great information about a synthetic test. The reason this is great for historical data analysis is because you can go in here and change the time period. You can look at last month or last year, whatever the case may be, and see how data is trending. Things like page size. How's your page size trending over the last 30 days or something like that. So that is that. The next thing I want to talk about is function tracing. So function tracing is great to understand what JavaScript functions are running slowly on the page and possibly delaying key performance milestones in the timeline of the page, the web page loading. Right. In this function tracing graph, we're able to see the name of the function and how long it took. Any functions that take over 50 milliseconds are going to show up as red here. Anything over 50 milliseconds, I believe Chrome defines as a long task. So that's the functions, function tracing. You're also able to see the function tracing combined with the object level detail. So here all the functions are going to show up as red, so it's more so pink. All the functions are going to show up as pink, and you're able to see how the functions and the files are loading and running as they relate to each other, and when are the the key performance milestones happening as it relates to those functions and files loading. So one of the things that function tracing is great for is improving your timed interactive, really improving any of Google's Web Vitals, core Web Vitals. One of their Web Vitals is TTI, and TTI has a direct relationship with slow loading JavaScript functions, otherwise known as long tasks, and those are delaying your timed interactive from happening. So you're definitely going to want to dig into here and make sure you're aware of where these things are happening, these slow loading JavaScript functions. So this shows you the function tracing for an object level detail for a single page measurement. We also have an aggregate waterfall, which instead of just one page measurement, you're actually looking at hundreds or even thousands of measurements aggregated together. So this reduces the noise and allows you to see where things consistently performing slowly as it relates to function tracing and object level detail as your web pages load. All right. I see we're coming to the end of our time. So I'm going to, I think, stop there and take a look in the chat and the questions and see if there's anything I can help answer for you guys.
Pulling the slides back up here. All right, so I see one question came in, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. So the first question I see is there a log anywhere of changes to synthetic monitors? It would really help to know when updates are made to correlate with changes in the data. Yeah, it's a great question, and we do have a synthetic monitors log. Let me pull up the portal again, and I can show you where that is. So if you're in the synthetic monitors management screen, jump back over there. The synthetic monitors log is actually just right up here in the right. So if you click on that, we can see, I created the Mark Demo Monitor 1, and then I disabled it shortly after that. So that's the log. And actually, your question brings up an interesting point. We actually have something called event markers. Event markers, let me pull it up in the settings under the other section, event markers. So these are annotations on your graphs over time. They're lines that'll mark significant events. That could be changes to some of your important synthetic monitors, or it could just be outages, sales, things like that. So definitely check out Event Markers if you're interested in that sort of thing. All right. It looks like that's all we have for you guys today, but thank you for your time. And if you do have any more questions, we're always happy to speak offline. So feel free to reach out to us anytime. You can use any of the emails listed here. Of course, support bluetriangle.com. And you can also go into our help center at help.bluetriangle.com, and you could submit a request or a question there, and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. For more information about Blue Triangle product training, like how to watch previous sessions or how to register for upcoming ones, again, be sure to check out our help center at help.bluetriangle.com. And when you're there, just click the big button for product training. If you're in the Blue Triangle portal, you can get to the help center by clicking the question mark icon in the top right. All right, guys, thanks again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.